Hello folks, it's Will here, back at the hive for another hive inspection. Last week I applied mite treatment for my very first time. I used Mite Away quick strips, and I did the option 1, the full dose, which is 2 of the pads that have formic acid in them that you stack in between the boxes there, and you leave them in for a week, and then you can remove them, you can leave them in. The bees will actually get rid of the pads if you just leave them in. I think I'm just going to pull the pads out. So today is an inspection to see how they fared with the with the mite treatment. I want to see where they're at as far as how they're doing with the feet, filling the frames at the top. I did bring an extra box in case I have to put one on top. If they're still not filling them and they're still taking feed, I have a hive top feeder on there. I'm gonna refill that, and I also have another pollen patty. And with that, we'll get started with the inspection. Funny thing is, I can already see two honeybees down here trying to get at the pollen patty in the bag. I don't know if you can see it down here. Got another one over here. So, I think they both smell the pollen patty and the sugar syrup. So let me get my gloves on here. I'm shaking them out because I don't want to stick my hand in the glove with a bee in it. That would not be good. Alright, get this glove on. Grab my tools and the smoker. Before I do anything really with the hive, I want to look at the ground in front of the entrance here and see some of the activity down there. Okay, looks pretty good. Smoke to let them know I'm here. I'm also planning on putting the entrance reducer back on because we're getting into robbing. We're getting pretty close to robbing season, I think. The goldenrod is still blooming pretty good, so they're still bringing that in. But I'm anxious to get the reducer on because I noticed the last week when I was here, I did see a bee that got rolled out of the hive by some of the other guard bees. So we'll crack the lid here, bring this up a little bit. Okay, so they didn't take any of the syrup. And because I applied the mite treatment while they were still, well, I had this feeder on, a fair bit of bees ended up in the feeder, unfortunately. This should be interesting. I think I'm going to set the feeder further away. Them out here. Okay, and they haven't really touched this pollen patty at all, which tells me that they're still doing pretty good as far as bringing pollen in from the goldenrod. Okay. Grab my frame puller. Crack this second frame loose. how we're doing. Okay, got a queen cup going here. We're gonna get rid of that. This first frame here. Okay, they're starting to put nectar in that. And they're starting to put nectar in that one. And they're starting to cap some of it. That's a good sign. They're a little more protective today as we're getting to the end of the season. So I'm going to be a smoking fool. This third frame. I'm starting to pack it in here and draw it out more. That's a good sign. Okay, trying to get it in the sun here so I can see down in it. Get some pollen in there. That stuff's sticky. Some capped brood there, and we're starting to backfill it with some nectar. Same on this frame, a little bit of capped brood. Okay. More capped brood, and they're starting to backfill it. Okay, actually I don't think they're backfilling that yet. Nectar. More nectar. This frame's almost entirely capped, and they're filling that side. That's good. Still working on drawing that one out. Packing that one. More nectar in there. Okay. Put the box back together here. Pull the frame hanger off. A little more smoke. Comes the tricky heavy part. Frame there. I'm going to pull, these are the remains of the mite away strips. So I'm going to pull that one off. Set it here for a second. Pull this one off. Here. I shouldn't have set that palm patty underneath, because I want to put that in between the frames here. I mean in between the boxes. My frame hanger. Seem to be a little more defensive this visit, and I can understand why after that mite treatment. Alright. Alright, they're starting to fill this one full of nectar. There are a few capped brood cells in there. This one, the hanger. A little bit of bee bread in there, and nectar. Nectar and bee bread in that one. That's covered. Skin for the queen here. There she is. There's the queen. You can see her. She's right here, walking. Okay, so it's queen right. I haven't noticed any eggs yet. I'm going to check a couple more frames, look for eggs. She might have shut down laying because of that treatment. Capped brood. Still no eggs. And they're backfilling that full of nectar too, which is a little concerning because it's in the middle of the box. Okay. Nothing there. At least she's in the box. And it didn't run off on me. Nothing there. Alright. So, looks like the treatment caused the queen to stop laying. Hopefully next week when I come back, I'll see some eggs. I did spot that one tiny start of a queen cup. I'm hoping that was just sometimes they just draw them, I think, to draw them in case of an emergency. But I didn't see any other signs of queen cells down below. Okay. Tools down. Grab this pollen patty. Put it in the middle. Stack the box here. Now, think about what I'm going to do about this feeder. It's a shame all those drowned. But what had happened was when I put the mite strips in, all the bees came flying out of the hive and bearded on the back of the box, and then I realized the vent of the top cover here was in the back, and they're starting to all march in. So I had to come back and flip the vent to the front to try to keep them from drowning themselves. But I think a fair number of them got it. So let me try to smoke these guys down. And carry this over. Center it up as best as I can. And I'm gonna Again, put the entrance, the vent in the front this time. Hopefully to prevent more of them doing that. Put the lid on. And the last thing I want to do is put the interest reducer back in. There we go. And that should do it for this week's inspection. So the mite away strips definitely shut the queen down. At least they didn't abscond on me, they stuck around. Before I even started this inspection, I watched the hive for a little bit. They're really busy pulling in nectar from the goldenrod. I'm just hoping the queen starts laying here before she runs out of space. So we'll see what happens with that. But looks like I didn't need the sugar syrup or this pollen patty this week. I'll bring it along with me just in case next week. And we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, have a good afternoon.